This is Elliot Serrano and Jose Melendez coming to you here on the Comic Culture Warrior video channel. Once again, well, not this time, not from Dreamland Comics. We had to change our venue again due to scheduling issues, and we are back at my home in Streamwood, Illinois, in, I call it the Nerd Cave. But we had a week where we couldn't record due to some issues with Mr. Melendez's health, and I know that a lot of you were a little bit upset about that, and you were also, I liked how a lot of folks actually sent you a lot of fine greetings. They love you. But for once, it wasn't my fault we didn't record. You have to blame him. And because we wanted to get caught up, and it looked like it wasn't going to happen on a Sunday at least, we're doing it here from my house. So some things did go down over the week when...
the last 2 weeks.
The last 2 weeks while we were gone. The big thing, of course, was the announcement of... Well, the most recent thing was the announcement of DC Entertainment. The formation of DC Entertainment. DC's former president and publisher Paul Levitt stepped down, and someone from... I forgot her name already. From the higher-ups in Warner Brothers took over as the...
Well, I think that isn't the position of president and publisher of DC Comics, that's not her new thing. It's
she has all DC Entertainment, right? But there is now DC Comics kind of falls under the umbrella of DC Entertainment, so you're not going to have so much a president and publisher of DC Comics, if I understand it correctly.
But I can hear the fanboys now, like, oh no, the women's are going to ruin my comics now that she's running it.
I actually...
You're going to see 5 more Wonder Woman comics. It's going to be awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, really. I'm not terribly concerned about the change at DC Comics.
Neither am I.
Neither am I. Just like I'm also not concerned about the change at Marvel Comics. A lot of you were asking us to comment on the merger of DC, or at least... not DC. Marvel Comics was bought by Disney. And that was another thing that went down that we talked a little bit. You talked a little bit on the blog, on the CCW blog. I talked a little about it. I didn't really talk about it. I commented on it on the Geek to Me blog. That with Marvel being bought out by Disney, there is this sudden fear that Marvel Comics are going to be Disney-fied. And even I read some comments on one of the boards that we would be getting our wish that there go the adult comics, there go the grown-up comics. All we're going to get now are kiddie comics.
If that means I never have to read another issue of Kick-Ass again, I'm down with that.
Yeah. Well, we are going to talk about Kick-Ass. But in a nutshell, I don't see that big of a change happening at DC and Marvel with their acquisitions. I see one possible change, and it can only be a good one.
No more Joe Quesada?
No, Mark Waid will finally get to write a Superman monthly. Finally.
Yeah, well, you have to think about it. I mean, there's been a lot of stuff, especially the Marvel thing. And the DC, there's big things now. Are is this going to change the way? Is this going to change comic shops? Is it going to change distribution of comics? Right. Because you don't ever know. I mean, Marvel has their own. HarperCollins publishes all of Disney's books,
right,
and so on and so forth, and they're their main publisher. And a lot of people are like, well, what if they just start publishing? If they move all of Marvel's graphic novel and backlist publishing over to there. And then they just distribute them themselves. It takes it all away from Diamond, and then and they make a lot. Diamond makes most of their money from Marvel because they're the number one publisher. Right. So I mean, there is little things like that. That could happen, but for the most part, I think that it's going to be one of those things that when Disney bought Pixar, they didn't want to fuck Pixar shit up because they were pretty much, they made a lot of money and they don't really want to mess with it and.
Yeah,
kinda
no, you're right. But I mean, but most people know. I mean, it wasn't in the case of Pixar animation and Disney animation. It was really kind of the reverse. I mean, it seemed more like Pixar bought out that Disney because John Lasseter was put in charge of the animation wing, and you know, it seemed like the Pixar folks came in and kind of cleaned things up and ruled the roost. That would be like Marvel turning around and, you know, Joe Quesada going into the Disney offices and saying, you know, you guys need to change this, this, and this. That's not going to happen there. But with Pixar, it was kind of the inverse. And, yeah, you can talk about the distribution and so on, but I think the Disney folks know more business models and what's the successful comic book business model. They're not going to want to mess with it. The one that gets me even more, I mean, again, was the DC Entertainment one, where how it happens is like a friggin' week after the Marvel thing.
Yeah.
It comes across as more reactionary, even though the thing, the two things were always in the works. It's not like, and I had made a joke about it on the Geek to Me blog, that DC went, oh shit, we got to get our house in order, we got to do something too. And it wasn't really like that. It was always, you know, going to happen regardless of what happened with DC and Marvel. But I was kind of surprised that DC, again, kind of gets, you know, one-upped. Although, I think even if Marvel and DC had, you know, I mean, I'm sorry, if DC and Warner Brothers hadn't made that change, or had made that change and Marvel and Disney never did it, I don't think anyone would have cared. Because you always think of DC Comics as part of a big conglomerate anyway.
Yeah, most of the people won't care, but here is the thing about Paul Levitz leaving or stepping down from DC is certain people in the industry are going to care, and I think that retailers should really care because Paul Levitz was the champion. He was a champion for the direct market.
Right.
He helped start the direct market, and he's always come across as being that we need to help comic shops because that's who's selling our product. Right. We need to help them succeed, and he's always been about that. Now, who knows what's going to happen? Because I've mentioned this before that DC actually, depending on how much money retailers buy or spend on DC products, that you get some money for co-op. And if you want to run an ad in a paper or something, if you use a template from a DC ad, like put your name in it, they'll pay for half of it.
Right.
And there's co-op that stores are constantly building up for it. Now, is something like that going to stop? I mean, you never know.
Well, you have more money now in the DC engine. I mean, you have more money. Oh,
but
always got a lot of money.
You're going to be missing the hands-on approach that Levitz had with the retailers. Right. So I think that might be one thing that might change. But like I said, a lot of people might not notice that.
Right.
Just normal fans might not notice stuff like that.
And the thing too with the Marvel and DC and Disney thing is that, and a comment that was made on the board is, it's possible now that those titles that we like that don't sell the big numbers get more of a chance. They get more time to be able to grow and get a readership and go on because the Marvel machine now has more capital in it too. Mm-hmm. So it's not so much, you know, the reality is Disney bought Marvel Comics not for the comics but for the licenses, for the properties, to have all those characters and to be able to do things with those characters.
Disney's a big money whore, and that's pretty much what they don't even see Spider-Man, they see dollar signs. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
And it's going to be, and you're going to have the at Disney stores, you're going to have Wolverine next to the Disney Princess line in the Disney stores.
Wouldn't that be kind of cool though? Like if they started putting comic books into Disney stores.
Yeah.
Or something along that.
Something
those
like
lines.
that. Yeah.
Just to get comics more exposure.
Well, they were trying to get. Well, I mean, of course, the question has yet to be answered about what's going to happen with Kingdom Comics, which was Disney's own publishing line. So there hasn't been a definitive answer given with that.
Yeah, well, then we can go off on that tangent about that. Boom Studios is going to start next month republishing Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and Uncle Scrooge. Mm-hmm. And they've actually done a really good line with the Muppets, which
and
Disney
Toy
owns,
Story,
and then the Pixar stuff.
Yeah.
So they finally got the license to do that. It's like, well, hopefully that they're going to continue to do that. Boom Studios has done an awesome job.
Oh yeah,
with their kids lines, and I hope that this Disney thing doesn't really fuck it up.
Well, the license I know they have for a few years. So I mean,
right.
if anything happens, it's not going to happen till way down the line.
And for all you people who are like, oh, now we're going to see Mickey Mouse and Wolverine team up and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, because you see, Batman fighting with Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd like all the time. There's always that huge crossover.
Oh wait, I don't have it. I have my Indiana Jones Mickey up on the thing. If you go to Disney World, you'll find the Luke Skywalker Disney.
But now you're gonna see, you will see little shit like that. Like you'll probably see little toys at Disney World where like Mickey Mouse or
Spider-Man, or something like
stupid
that.
shit like that we're not gonna have to put up with in the comics.
No, you're right, and it's not.
It's just another way from Disney to make more money.
To make more money, exactly. So, again, these aren't people. The Disney folks aren't going to screw up what's already a winning formula.
But you never know. I'm for one that if anything bad can ever happen, it probably will happen. And who knows? I mean, we're trying to be positive.
It won't be Murphy's Law. It'll be Mickey's Law.
You never know. I mean, two years from now, Marvel might not even be around anymore. Who knows what Disney's going to do?
I doubt it.
You never know.
I doubt it.
I need to throw that out there so 2 years from now when Marvel's not around, I'll be like, I told you guys. Nobody listened.
All right. So we're going to end this segment on that. Just in the end, not a big deal. Not a big deal, guys. Sky's not falling.
But it was a big deal when I first read about it. When I woke up in the morning and that was the first thing I read, I'm like, where the fuck did this come from? I mean, it is kind of a big deal.
I know.
But there's so many questions, though, that we can't really even go into it right now because we don't know what's going to happen. We hope nothing changes.
Nothing's going to change.
But it's too early.
I think a couple cosmetic things will change, and you'll probably see something in the corporate structure change. But
hopefully we won't.
Nothing that's going to affect creative.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see less women beating and raping and...
Oh, that's another thing, too, that people will bring up. But we're running out of time in this segment, so we'll bring it up in one of the next segments. All right? And understand Jose is making a grand sacrifice doing this for you guys.
I am. I'm still dying.
He's dying, and I'm going to get sick from him. I know it. All right, folks. We will see you in the next segment.
You can only be so lucky.
Oh, lucky. Right. See ya.